A title: Planning for Services and Advocacy. Vicki Ybanez, Executive Director, Red Wind Consulting, Incorporated.
It's so important that we have an environment that really recognizes the differences that an elder might have in terms of their personal care needs as well as their emotional and mental needs. And a setting that is primarily filled with younger people may not be appropriate. We want to make sure that when we're making referrals and helping an elder reach out to services, that those services are well trained and adequately prepared to work with an elder population because the needs are different.
Brandl, Director, National Clearinghouse on Abuse in Later Life, End Domestic Abuse, Wisconsin.
A community can take a number of steps to inform itself about abuse in later life, and 4 things come to mind. The first is taking a look at the demographics in your community. There's great Census Data Bureau that you can get online to figure out the age of the population. Are there clusters of older populations in certain parts of your community? Where might underrepresented or marginalized communities be, so that when you're creating and tailoring services, you're meeting all of the community and not just a segment of it? A second thing I would think about is conducting a needs assessment. There are survey tools that can be used to ask older adults, professionals and others about what their experience is with the current services in a community and what else they might like to see available. And that can be a great data collection mechanism as well. A third way to collect some data about what's happening in a community is called mapping of victims' experience. And so either working as a professional group or bringing some older adults in, ideally maybe even some older victims or survivors who have used some services in a community, and starting to have conversations about what happens if a neighbor or an older adult calls 911. What happens next? And are there places where the process is seamless and handoffs happen and all of the professionals who need information are in fact involved in the process? Or do things break down at certain points, and are there ways that we can on a macro level start to smooth out the responses of systems? I know of communities that have started mapping the process out on one wall, and it's gone all the way around a conference room as they have started to think about if the call comes to law enforcement, if the call comes to the domestic violence or sexual assault program, if the call first comes to APS, how does it all come together? And if it doesn't, how can we fix that? And finally, I think a great option can be offering listening sessions or focus groups of older adults in the community, hearing their experiences and their ideas about what can be done and improved.
Logos appear. NCALL, www.ncall.us. Terra Nova Films, terranova.org. Funded by the U.S. Department of Justice, Office on Violence Against Women and Elder Justice Initiative. www.justice.gov/elderjustice. A disclaimer. This project was supported by grant number 2014 AXTA K050, awarded by the Office on Violence Against Women and by the Elder Justice Initiative, U.S. Department of Justice. The opinions, findings, conclusions, and recommendations expressed in this program are those of the authors and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Department of Justice, Office on Violence Against Women, or the Elder Justice Initiative.